Good morning, everyone. I am Professor Amit Jadhav. Today, we are going to see exception handling in Java. First of all, let's see what is exception handling. So, errors arise unexpectedly and can result in disrupting the normal flow of execution. This is something that every programmer faces at one point or the other while coding. Java, being the most prominent object oriented language, provides a powerful mechanism to handle the errors or exceptions. So, whenever a programmer do the program, at that time, the number of errors and exception are generated, and Java can handle it using exception handling method. So, exception handling, an exception is a problem that arises during the execution of a program. It can occur for various reasons. Say, a user had entered invalid data, file not found, network connection has been lost, the JVM run out of memory. So, due to such type of errors, the exception is generated. So, let's first see what is difference between exception and errors. So, errors are impossible to recover from an error, and exception possible to recover from exception. So it's difficult to recover from an error, but it is possible to recover from exception. Errors are of type uncheck, and exception are of type of uncheck and check. Occur Errors are occur runtime, and exception are occur compile time or runtime. So this is the hierarchy of exception handling. Runtime exception class and have exception are the both the class using that we can handle the exception. So here java.lang is the base class. Then object class is there. Object class derive one more class, throwable. It derives two classes, errors and exception. And exception derives two classes, runtime exception and other exception. So let's first see to whenever the program throws an exception. So this is a simple program. You open the notepad. We first save the program on Java program. So exception one dot Java. Here we change with exception one. Okay, and we run the program on command prompt. We have to set the path. Then cd Java, cd program. Okay, in that Java C exception one dot Java. Here we compile the program and programs compiled successfully. Now we are going to run the program. So while running the program, here it throws an exception. That exception in thread main, this is null point exception. Let's see why it's happened. So in this program, we write main method. In that, we create a string variable and assign null value to it. And after that, we print the length of string. So here string with the null value. So whenever we are going to print string length, it throws an exception, that is null pointer exception. Okay, next one. So to customize exception handling, we use the different techniques like try, catch, throws, throw, finally block. Using that, we can manually handle this exception. So there are predefined exception. Library exception classes are provided by the Java class, by Java language. So there are two derived class, exception and error. So these are some built-in exceptions that is provided by Java programming. So arithmetic exception first one, it occurs when there is error due to arithmetic operation like plus, minus, multiplication, division. Then at that time arithmetic exception is generated. Then next one is array index out of bound exception. It occurs when we specify some array size, and uh, whenever that size goes exceed, at that time array index out of bound exception is generated. For example, if we specify the array size 5 and we enter 6 and 7 elements, then this type of exception is generated. Then whenever we declare the class but that create its object, but that class is not available, then it throws an exception, class not found exception. Same for the file. Whenever we try to find out the file and that file is not present, then file not found exception is generated. IO exception for input output file operation. Interrupt exception to handle the interrupt. The exception is generated, that is interrupted exception. And no such field exception when we define some variable, assign some value, but that variable is not present, then no such field exception is generated. Next one, types of Java exception. There are two types of exception. First one is the check exception and second one is uncheck exception. Check exceptions are the type of programmers should anticipate anticipate sorry anticipate, and from which the program should be able to recover. So those exception that we can be recover are known as the check exception, and those exception that we are not recover not able to recover, these are uncheck exception. All Java exception are check exception except those of error and runtime exception classes and their subclasses. So if the error is generated of, or if runtime exception is generated, then it is called as the uncheck exception. Other uh, other exception we can handle using Java exception class. Okay, so check exception are IO exception, SQL exception, data access exception, class not found exception, and instantiation exception. So these are all are check exception. So in this example here, we try to open a file at location e file.txt, but this file.txt file is not present in this location. So after that we got an error, file not found exception is generated. Okay, next one is uncheck exception. Uncheck exception inherit from error class or the runtime exception. So if the errors are generated runtime or simple error are generated, then it is the uncheck exception. The popular uncheck exception these are. So these errors are generated runtime. Okay, so that we cannot handle. So this is known as the, that we can handle using Java classes, but not handle if we are not using the exception. So here we define an array with 4 items and we try to print the num5, that is the fifth item. So it throws an error. So let's see how it is. This is example of unchecked demo. I compile this program, simple paste it, and We run the program. Oh, one error. Okay, one bracket required. So here exception is generated, array index out of exception. If we are giving correct value, then it will not throw an exception. This program compiles successfully but not executed. So this is called as the runtime error. So this is the for value if we are giving correct index. Next one, this is known as the unchecked exception. So to handle that, we use try catch block. In try catch block, this is the try block where we write our code. In catch block, we catch that error. Okay, if whenever we write this code and in that if error is generated, that is handled by the catch block. Okay, and let's see the example. Oh no, oh sorry, here main method I test two times. So here exception is generated. Let's see the program. Here two variables are defined, x and y. We assign 0 value to x. Y is equal to 34 divided by x, that is 0. And when the number is divided by 0, it throws an exception. That is known as divide by 0, divide number by 0 exception. Okay, and that is in under comes under arithmetic exception. So it is handled by catch block. Here we write arithmetic exception E and we print the message should not divide by 0. And after that we write out of try catch block in Java. So whenever we execute this program, at that time the exception is generated, but that is handled by arithmetic exception. If we are right here 2, then we get the result 17, right? So so this way we can handle the exception. Finally block, it's a compulsory block. Whenever we use it, its code is executed. Okay. So whenever we write the final block, if the error exception is generated, then also this block get executed. So this is known as the finally. So try finally. Okay. We compile this code and execute. Here we get an error message with final block get execute system. This will executed finally. This will executed finally. Okay. So this is try catch finally block. Using that we can handle the exception as well as error. So this is the exception handling. This is one other example of finally block. Okay. Again, one more example for try catch block. Then next point is multiple catch block. So we can use multiple catch block in single try block. with single try block. So its syntax is try, and here we use multiple catch block. Okay, example of multiple catch block. Here we create an array with 5 elements, and we are try to access the 10th element of an array. Then it throws an error, and that is array index out of bound exception. But here we write multiple catch block. In first one we handle arithmetic exception. Here we handle array index out of bound exception, and here we handle the plain exception. So if we copy this code, we get result or answer that array index out of bound exception occur. So let's see. So it this error catch in the block of array index out of bound. Okay, rest out of the code. Rest of the code. Okay, next one more example of catch block. Next one is nested try catch block. In that we can use multiple try and catch block. So here we start with the tries, write some statement. Again we write the try block. After that we close this first try. Then we write the catch block. Okay, close the catch block. Then we again start the catch. So we can use multiple try catch block to handle multiple exception. So here divide by 0, that is arithmetic exception is generated. After that array index out of bound exception is generated, and final this one. So we can handle all this one. Just we copy this code. So here going to divide. After that arithmetic exception is generated, and it print the message that is arithmetic exception divided by 0. Then we use try and catch blocks. Here array index out of exception is generated, and it will print other statement, and finally print normal flow. Okay, next one. Now it's a throws. Throws is a keyword in Java which is used to signature of method indicate that the method might throw one of the listed type exception. So using throw we can handle the exception. So this is the syntax. Here we write the return type, method name, and then throws exception and class name. So example, here we already use this throws exception in our program. So here we write public static void main and throws interrupted exception. If interruption is generated, then it will shows an error. Okay, so copy this code. So here thread dot sleep, it will stop the process up to 10 seconds, up to 1 second, sorry, up to 1 second, and after that it will print the message. So we wait for 10 seconds. Okay, after that it will shows hello everyone message. Okay, let's see the output. Here import java.io.star. So here we write main method two times, so it throws an error, and here it should be close by using two curly brackets. One error, semicolon expected. So here one more. So it will wait for 10 seconds, and after that it shows an message, hello everyone. Here we get an output. So here there is no error generated, so it not throws any error. So device error, I exception. Next one is throw. Throw keyword in Java is used to explicitly throw exception from a method or any block. So to throw an error that is generated explicitly, to handle that we use throw block. So here try catch. So this is simple example of try catch block. No, it throws an error. Okay, null point exception demo. Let's see the example. So in this example, we start from main method. In that we write the try and call the fun function. Whenever we call it, the control comes here. It comes to try block. It generated null pointer exception demo. So it handled by null pointer exception, and it gives the message caught inside fun. After that, it call the exception throw E. After that, it comes outside the function, and it will throws an error that caught in main. Okay, let's see its output. आता या प्रोग्राम मध्ये बघा, फर्स्ट ज्यावेळी फंक्शन कॉल केले तर त्यावेळी हा जो काही एरर आपल्याला भेटलाय हा थ्रो केलाय बघा एरर, जर नल पॉइंटर एक्सेप्शन असेल तर. म्हणून तो या एक्सेप्शन मध्ये कॉल झाला आणि त्याने हा मेसेज प्रिंट केला. आणि त्यानंतर थ्रो ई, ई कुठे एक्सेप्शनचा ऑब्जेक्ट आहे, इथे आहे नल पॉइंटर एक्सेप्शनचा, तर तो हा मेसेज देईल कॉट इन मेन. ओके, हो गया था आउटपुट. So here we first get the output caught inside fun, and after that caught in main. Yes, next. So this is one more example. Difference between throw and throws. So throw keyword is used to throw an exception explicitly. Throws keyword is used to declare one or more exceptions separated by comma. So here we uh, define one exception, and here we can in throws we can define more than one exception. Only single exception is thrown. Multiple exception can thrown. Throw keyword is used. Throws keyword is used. Syntax wise, throw keyword is followed by instance variable, and syntax wise, throws keyword is followed by exception class name. Check exception cannot be propagated using throw only. Uncheck exception can be propagated. And here, check exception propagated and followed by specific exception class name. So here we end with the exception handling chapter. If you have any doubt, then you can contact me on my WhatsApp number. Thank you. Thank you for watching.